Arizona in the last 10 years has become a killing field. We have now found the bodies of close to 2,000 migrants. This is just in southern Arizona since the border enforcement was stepped up.
Even DEA agents were complaining that the U.S. government completely forgot the war on drugs because they were so concentrated on fighting terrorism. And the Mexican drug cartels start pouring to the south border of the United States. Now they are operating in the U.S. like in Mexico.
Tonight, we take you to Nogales for a story on cross-border violence.
Over the past decade, America's demand for drugs has increased by 40%.
Mexico's responsibility alone. A demand for these drugs in the United States is what is helping to keep these cartels in business. This war is being waged with guns purchased not here, but in the United States.
This thing started in 2006 with a new president as a statement of his personal power. Mano dura, I'm the strong man. He ripped the mask off Mexico. In other words, he was going to claim he's the big guy. And the mask he ripped off revealed what's really going on in Mexico: mass poverty and social disintegration. Now it's turned into a war by the Mexican government against the Mexican people. The war on drugs is over. There isn't a city in this country where anybody's having a panic because the drugs haven't arrived this week. What you're seeing is a slaughterhouse, and it's escalating. And it's not going to end. And I should say one last thing. We're paying for it. We're giving him $500 million a year to the Mexican army.
Classified diplomatic cables released by WikiLeaks reveal that Mexican security institutions are often locked in a zero-sum competition in which one's agency's success is viewed as another's failure. Information is closely guarded, and joint operations are all but unheard of.
Look, 40% of the Mexican budget, for example, comes from their oil fields. Their oil fields are dying. This current president said they'll be gone in 9 years. The second licit leading source of money in Mexico is remittances from illegal Mexicans working here who send back 20, 25 billion a year. Drugs earns the country 30 to 50 billion a year. For Mexico to seriously say we're going to wipe out the drug industry would be saying we're going to commit suicide. The country's become dependent on it.
As a result of increased cartel violence in Mexico, there has been a spillover effect into Arizona, which has led to an increase in their own violent crime rate.
Drug-related deaths in Mexico have skyrocketed from 2,100 to over 11,000. Since 2006, Arizona has seen a 200% increase in drug trafficking-related violence.
Pasado que estuvimos mi compañero y yo aquí, fueron 2,700 gentes las que pasaron en un día. Más aparte, el mes pasado creo hubo en una ocasión que pasaron casi las 3,000 gentes también.
In Mexico, the drug trade represents a $30 to $50 billion industry. It's run by several cartels which each control a specific region of the country.
20 years ago, drugs went into the United States through Florida. It was called the Caribbean route. And the United States moved their forces and strengthened their navy. And once that happened, drugs started flowing into Mexico. And that's when the problems we have now started.
Mexican cartels have expanded their presence into major cities throughout the U.S. in order to create more efficient distribution networks.
And they have laid siege to authorities in Mexico's border cities, carrying out attacks with highly sophisticated weapons, most purchased in the United States and smuggled into the country. Mexican authorities say they have seized thousands of guns from the cartels, and Mexican President Felipe Calderón wants Washington to do something about it.
We seized in these 2 years more than 25,000 weapons and guns, and more than 90% of them came from the United States.
Without a more effective enforcement strategy on the part of the Mexican government and increased compliance from the United States, border violence will only continue to increase. This is Jason Spicer reporting from Nogales.